Chapter 5 Mouse Holes. Hello, Artie? I'm telling you, I don't know what to do with your father. He just climbed onto the roof. Huh? Walla? He insisted on fixing the drain pipe and got dizzy. I don't know how I ever got him down. What time is it? Now he wants to climb back up. What am I supposed to do? Please don't shout. Why don't you call a handyman? Geez, Mala, it's only 7:30 a.m. Francois and I were up till 4. You know we don't get up till... Hello? Artie? It's Papa here. I'm telling you, Mala makes me sugar. I want that. Maybe you should come over now to Queens to help me. What? You've got to be kidding. When I was young, I could do by myself these things, but now, darling, I need your help for the drain pipe. Look, Pop, I'll call you back after I've had some coffee. Whew, maybe I was dreaming. Was it? Your father again? Uh-huh. He wants me to go help him fix his roof or something. Shoot! Even as a kid, I hated helping him around the house. He loved showing off how handy he was and proving that anything I did was all wrong. He made me completely neurotic about fixing stuff. I mean, I didn't even own a hammer before I moved into this place. One reason I became an artist was that he thought it was impractical, just a waste of time. It was an area where I wouldn't have to compete with him. So, are you going out to Queens? No way. I'd rather feel guilty. Besides, I'm too busy, and he can easily afford to hire somebody. Hello, Pop? Listen, about that drain pipe, I don't think I can come. So? Never mind, Artie. I talked just now to Frank, what lives next door. He agreed he would fix it with me over the weekend. That's great. Yes, of course, better it would be fixed today, but at least somebody will help me. Just great. About a week later, early afternoon. Hiya, Pop. What you doing out here in the garage? It is always something here I must do. I'm putting now away my old nails, the long ones separate from the short ones. Plink. Is the roof all fixed up? Yeah, Frank came from next door, eventually, and together we fixed. Do you need any help with those nails or anything? No. Such jobs I can do easy by myself. Plunk. Is everything okay? Huh? With my life now, you know it can't be everything okay. You go upstairs. I'll finish here, my job, and in a few minutes, I'll come up. Okay. Plink. Hi, Mala. Oi, you scared me, Artie. My nerves are completely shot living with your father. He seemed a little upset when I saw him downstairs. Do you think he's angry that I didn't come help him last week? I don't think so. But keeping this house fixed up is too much for him now. I keep telling him to sell it and buy a condo in Miami. He seems depressed. It could be that comic strip you once made, the one about your mother. What? Vladek saw it for the first time a couple days ago. How do you know about Prisoner on the Hell Planet? My friend Ruthie has a son in college. He reads all the comics. He showed it to her, and she gave me a copy. Shoot! I knew it would upset your father, so I kept it hidden, but somehow he found it. I drew this story years ago. It appeared in an obscure underground comic book. I never thought Vladek would see it. Prisoner on Hell Planet, a case history. In 1968, when I was 20, my mother killed herself. She left no note. My father found her when he got home from work, her wrists slashed and an empty bottle of pills nearby. Oi, got! I was living with my parents as I agreed to do on my release from the state mental hospital 3 months before. I'd just spent the weekend with my girlfriend, Isabella. My parents didn't like her. I was late getting home. I suppose that if I'd gotten home when I expected, I would have found her body. When I saw the crowd, I had a pang of fear. I suspected the worst, but didn't let myself know. A cousin herded me away from the scene. Come to the doctor's. Your mother is, sick. He will explain. Dr. Orens lived nearby. Sit down, Arthur. I thought I should be the one to tell you. Your mother killed herself. She's dead. I could avoid the truth no longer. The doctor's words clattered inside me. I felt confused. I felt angry. I felt numb. I didn't exactly feel like crying, but I figured I should. Now, boy. No, let him cry. It's good for him. We went home. My father had completely fallen apart. Oi, Artie, why? Why? Such a tragedy and not even a note. I was expected to comfort him. Mother. Somehow the funeral arrangements were made, and for $950, we have a bronze casket with a bronze colored velvet, and of course, for $2,000, we can. The night was bad. My father insisted we sleep on the floor, an old Jewish custom, I guess. He held me and moaned to himself all night. I was uncomfortable. We were scared. The next day at the funeral home was worse. My father fought for self-control. I was pretty spaced out in those days. O nobly born, in your journey through the less void, remember unity of all living. It was much I had to learn. A friend of the family found me in the hall. Now you cry? Better you cried when your mother was still alive. I felt nauseous. The guilt was overwhelming. The next week we spent in mourning. My father's friends all offered me hostility mixed with their condolences. Arthur, we are so sorry. It's his fault, the punk. They think this is my fault? But for the most part, I was left alone with my thoughts. I remembered the last time I saw her. She came into my room. It was late at night. I turned away resentful of the way she tightened the umbilical cord. She walked out and closed the door. Well, Mom, if you're listening, congratulations, you've committed the perfect crime. You put me in here, shorted my circuits, cut my nerve endings, and crossed my wires. You murdered me, Mommy, and you left me here to take the rap. Pipe down, Mac. Some of us are trying to sleep. Gee, I'm surprised that Vladik read this when he found it. He never reads comics. He doesn't even look at my work when I stick it under his nose. But this isn't like the other comics. I tell you, when Ruthie showed it to me, I thought I'd faint. I was so shocked. It was so personal. But very accurate, objective. I spent a lot of time helping out here after Anya's funeral. It was just as you said. So, Artie, I'm ready. Let's walk now to the bank together. Mala just told me that you saw my comic, the one about Mom. Yes, I found it when I looked for the things you asked me last time. Whew, I saw the picture there of Mom, so I read it, and I cried. I'm sorry. It's good you got it outside your system, but for me, it brought in my mind so many memories of Anya. Of course, I'm thinking always about her anyway. Yes, you keep photos of her all around your desk, like a shrine. What have I to do, Mala? In the garbage but put them? Of you also, I have a photo on the desk. Ach, don't do me any favors. You see what I have with her? Always whatever I do is no good. Did you find Mom's diary? So far, this didn't show up. I looked, but I can't find it. I've got to have that. Another time, I'll again look, but now, better we go to the bank. Okay. Every day I walk, otherwise in my legs. The circulation makes me a cramp. It's something terrible and I can't sleep. But for my heart, I must walk slow. What happened to you and Anya after the big selection at the stadium? Well, for the first time, it was everything quiet. Then in 1943 came an order. All Jews who are left in Sosnowiec must now go and live in an old village nearby called Srodula. And the Poles of Srodula, we Jews had to pay to move them to our houses in Sosnowiec. And here in Srodula would be our ghetto to live here ever after. Our family got a cottage, less space than before, but we had at least where to live. Many only had the street. Each day we were taken to Sosnowiec to work in German shops. Anya with her sister Tasha, they worked in a clothing factory, and I went together with my nephew Lolek to the woodwork shop. Every day the guards marched us about an hour and a half to work. The guards, it was Jews with big sticks. They acted so, just like the Germans. And every night they marched us back, counted us, and locked us in. Vladik, Lolek, hurry home. Anya, what is it? Wolf's uncle Persis is at our house. From Zaurisy? Yes, he's a big shot there, the head of their Jewish council. He wants Wolf, Tasha, and Bibi to go live with him in Zaurisy. You've all heard the stories about Auschwitz, horrible, unbelievable stories. They can't be true. One thing is certain, as bad as those things are in the ghetto, being deported is even worse. Please, it's bad luck to even speak of it. Look, you wouldn't have much influence here. In Zaurisy, I have some influence with the Germans. I can bribe them. My 90-year-old father still lives with me. Whenever there's a roundup, an SS man guards him to keep him safe. 90? That was 1943. It wasn't left any other Jews what had 90 years. Persis was a really fine man, not so like a maniac Murin, the head of our ghetto, who looked only out for himself. Persis tried really hard, really to help his Jews. I can manage papers to take Wolf, Tasha, and Bibi, and maybe little Lonya and Richau if you let me. Yes, they'd be better off. You see, I wanted to send Richau someplace safe a year ago with Ilzeki's child. Things are even worse now, Vladik. We have no choice. No, we must all stay together. We've made it this far. God will still help us. Matka, be realistic. Anya's mother didn't like to look at the facts, but finally she agreed. So Persis arranged, and he came again to Sradula. It went with him Wolf, Tasha, and Bibi, Lolik's little sister Lonya, and our boy, Rachau. We watched until they disappeared from our eyes. It was the last time ever we saw them, but that we couldn't know. When things came worse in our ghetto, we said always, thank God the kids are with Persis, safe. That spring, on one day, the Germans took from Swadula to Auschwitz over 1,000 people. Most they took were kids, some only 2 or 3 years. Some kids were screaming and screaming. They couldn't stop. So the Germans swinged them by the legs against the wall, and they never any more screamed. In this way, the Germans treated the little ones that still had survived a little. This I didn't see with my own eyes, but somebody the next day told me, and I said, thank God with Persis our children are safe. So what happened to Richau? Ah, our beautiful boy. We only found out much later. A few months after we sent Richau to Zaswirsy, the Germans decided they could finish out that ghetto. More gunshots. What's going on? It's horrible, Tasha. All the Gestapo in the ghetto have been replaced by others from Opel. They just shot Persis and the rest of the Jewish council. What? They're evacuating Zaswirsy. We're all supposed to go to the square with our baggage right away. They're sending all of us out to Auschwitz. Oh my God. No, I won't go to their gas chambers, and my children won't go to their gas chambers. Biba, Lonya, Richau, come here quickly. Always Tasha carried around her neck some poison. She killed not only herself, but also the 3 children. I'm telling you, it was a tragedy among tragedies. He was such a happy, beautiful boy. Did Tasha's husband survive? No. On the train to Auschwitz, he tried to escape and they shot him. Hardly any survived. But these things we learned only much later. In our bunkers, we heard only rumors. Your bunkers? Yes, we had in Srodula to make for ourselves bunkers, places to hide. The Germans started to grab out anybody, if he had papers or no. Therefore, I arranged for us a very good hiding spot in our cellar, where it was coal storage. Show to me your pencil, and I can explain to you. Such things it's good to know exactly how was it, just in case. Side view, outer wall, ground floor, kitchen, coal bin, false bottom piled with coal, removable wood panel allows entry, bin bolted to the floor. Entrance, bunker, ladder, cellar, false outer wall, coal. In the kitchen was a coal cabinet, maybe 4 foot wide. Inside I made a hole to go down to the cellar. And there we made a brick wall filled high with coal. Behind this wall we could be a little safe. Even when they came with dogs to smell us out, and they knew the Jews were laying there, but still they couldn't find. The dogs run up and down like mad, but in the coal bin was only coal, and it looked full, and they couldn't lift it, and the cellar, it was only a cellar. Is it safe to go out yet? I can't stand all these worms crawling all over me. The Germans are leaving. We had worms there in that bunker. We've got enough food to stay here a couple days. We'd better wait till things quiet down. We survived there a few actions, but others what didn't have such a good place like what I made. They kept being taken away. Then in June, they arrested Maniak Marin and all the other highest big shots of the Judenrat, the Jewish council. Around this time, we were put into a different house. Here also we made a bunker. By the end of July, the Nazis made to liquidate completely our ghetto. It was 10,000 Jews taken away in 1 week. Except to sneak for food, we stayed mostly in the bunker. Lolik, thank God you're safe. It's like a battlefield outside. There's hardly anyone left in Srodula. Everyone has been deported or shot. From all the Jews of all Sosnowiec, it was left maybe 1,000 in the ghetto. At least your bag is full. You found a lot of food, yes? Just a few old turnips and some books. Books? What's the matter with you? We can't eat books. Shh. All the time we were hungry. We just didn't have what to eat. One night we went to sneak for food. Look, a stranger. We dragged him up to our bunker. What are you doing here? I didn't know anyone lived here. I just stopped to rest a moment. My wife and I have a starving baby. I was out hunting for scraps. He's lying. Maybe he's an informer. The safest thing would be to kill him. What had we to do? We took on him pity. In the morning, we gave a little food to him and left him to go to his family. Hudenraus! The Gestapo came that afternoon. They took us to a building in part of Stradula separated by wires, a ghetto inside the ghetto, and there we had to sit and wait. We were maybe 200 people together waiting. Each Wednesday went vans to Auschwitz. When we were caught, it was then maybe a Thursday. Look, Anya, that's my cousin, Jakov Spiegelman, in the courtyard. Hey, Jakov, help! Jakov, help us! Vladek, there's nothing I can do. I made signs to show I could pay. Some gold I hid in the chimney of our bunker when they took us, but a few valuables I had still with me. Okay, don't worry. Haskell will come up to help you. Haskell Spiegelman was another cousin. Wouldn't they have helped you even if you couldn't pay? I mean, you were from the same family. Ha! You don't understand. At that time, it wasn't any more families. It was everybody to take care for himself. The next day came in two girls carrying food, with them Haskell, a chief of the Jewish police. Look, Vladek, I can get you and your wife out, even your nephew, but your in-laws are too old. They'll never get past the guards. Please, we'll make it worth your while. The two girls he sent back to the kitchen. Quick, boy, grab this empty pail and carry it out with me. From the window, we saw Lolik go. My God, Vladek, you must get to Moskva and get me out, too. Give your cousin this gold watch, this diamond, anything. Of course, I'll do everything I can. The day after, Anya and I carried past the two guards the empty pails. Haskell took from me father-in-law's jewels, but finally, he didn't help them. On Wednesday, the vans came. Anya and I saw her father at the window. He was tearing his hair and crying. He was a millionaire, but even this didn't save him his life. So Mom's parents died in Auschwitz? No? What else? Right away, they went to get the gas. Haskell was happy to take from father-in-law the jewels, but the risk to save them, this he was not so happy to take. Always Haskell was such a guy, a combinator. A what? A guy what makes combinatia, a schemer, a crook. What did you pick up? Telephone wire. This is very hard to find. Inside, it's little wires. It's good for tying things. You always pick up trash. Can't you just buy wire? Psh! Why always do you want to buy when you can find? Anyway, this wire, they don't have it in any stores. I'll give to you some wire. You'll see how useful it is. No, thanks. Just tell me what happened with Haskell. There are only about 1,000 Jews left here. Most work at the Braun shoe shop. Haskell was a very big man in the ghetto then, when Sradula was finishing. I'll register you both there, and good afternoon, Sergeant. How are you, Herr Spiegelman? Haskell played very often cards with the Gestapo. We'll see you tonight, yes? Naturally. I just hope you won't be as lucky as last time. He lost to them big amounts of money, so they would like him. Milak, take care of cousin Vladek. Gladly. Haskell had two brothers, Pasach and Milak. Pasach was known as also a combinator, but Milak, he was a fine fellow. Ben, here can show you how to resole the German boots. We'll reserve this workbench for you. You don't have to sit here all the time, but whenever the German commission comes to inspect, just sit there and look busy. From time to time, I had other jobs also to do around the ghetto. Yes, that reminds me something now. Remember this guy, what I told you, gave us out our bunker? Well, you should know I buried him. Hey, this is the rat that turned my family over to the Gestapo. He was shot. Haskell had arranged he would be killed. But if he's dead, why are his eyes still wide open? He was struggling to survive. It happened I was on the work detail, so I buried him. Haskell is alive still in Poland with a Polish woman, a judge who kept him hidden when... my heart. Artie, quick, take from my pocket a nitrostat pill. Here, you okay? Whoosh. I'll be fine now. I have only to catch my breath still for a minute. Let's sit on that stoop. Just relax. Don't talk for a while. Whew, I made too fast our walking. Thank God with the nitrostat it's completely over right away. What was I telling you? You sure you're okay? Well, you were saying that Haskell survived the war. Yes, even a few years ago I sent him packages. Gifts? Why? He sounds like a rotten guy. Yes, I don't know why. I know only that I sent. You know, one time I was in the ghetto walking around. Halt, Jew! Give me your ID papers. I'm going to blow your brains out. Ah, I see you are a member of the illustrious Spiegelman family. Go on your way then and give Haskell my regards. Such friends Haskell had. I told Haskell and Malak later about this. You were very lucky, Vladek. They call him the shooter. Every day he kills some poor Jew just for fun. Hey, aren't you going over to Pasach's to buy some cake? Cake? For years we didn't see any cake, hardly even bread we saw. It's impossible. He's joking. Cake? But Cousin Passage was really selling cake. Everyone who could afford it stood in line to buy a piece. It looks delicious. How did you manage it, Passage? When people are sent to Auschwitz, my men search their houses. Passage was like Haskell, part of the Jewish police. They find a little flour here, a few grams of sugar there. I saved it. He was younger from Haskell, but also a combinator. You know what a cook my Rivka is. Try it. Only 75 zlotys a slice. I had still savings, so I got for Anya meat and some cake. But the whole ghetto, we were so sick later you can't imagine. Some of the flour Passage found, it wasn't really flour, only laundry soap, what he put in the cake by mistake. We were, all of us, sick like dogs. Before the war, Passage had a resort hotel in Zakopane. In those days, he found always schemes. All guests had to pay big Polish taxes, so Passage took bribes to not register them. If an inspector came, the guests had to hide themselves away. One time, his wife made not enough desserts to give to everybody, so Passage ran into the dining room and yelled, "Inspectors are coming!" It was no inspector, of course, but 40% of the guests ran fast from the room. Passage had enough desserts left over even for the next day. Come. Are you ready to walk again? Yes, it's too dirty to sit, but really, if I didn't have my nitrostat, it could have been just now something terrible. Malak Spiegelman, he survived the war with his wife and child, and they moved to Australia. About 5 years ago, he got a big heart attack. And last year, he got on the street a seizure, like what I had just now, but he didn't have with him his pills. His wife ran to find a drugstore. When she came back, Malak was dead. No, so life goes, but I must finish quick to tell you the rest about Sradula, because we will come soon over to the bank. By the end of 1943, the vans went every Wednesday with more and more people from Sradula to Auschwitz until it was very few left. It could be our turn soon, eh, Vladik? Let's hope not, Malak. Haskell heard that any day now they intend to deport everyone that's still left here. Malak took me to the shoe shop. It was early and nobody was there. Haskell made plans to smuggle himself out of the ghetto. Passach and I have plan also. He moved a few shoes from a pile high to the ceiling and took me inside a tunnel. Don't tell anyone about this except Anya and your nephew. We came out to a bunker. Be prepared to bring them on a moment's notice. Incredible. Everything was ready here, so 15 or 16 people could hide. But when Anya and I approached to discuss this bunker with Lolik, no thanks, forget it. But Malak organized everything. I'm sick of hiding. Our nephew was then only 15. He was working as an electrician. Always Lolik was a little mashuga. I'm a skilled worker. Wherever they take me, I'll be okay. You're crazy. You're going straight to the ovens. And he did get put into one of the next transports to Auschwitz. Anya became completely hysterical. The whole family is gone. Grandma and Grandpa, Papa, Mama, Tasha, Bibi, Myra Xiao. Now they'll take Lolik. It was also around this time we heard first the bad news from Zawasi about Tasha and Rashao. Oh God, let me die too. Come on, Anya, get up. Why are you pulling me, Vladik? Let me alone. I don't want to live. No, darling, to die it's easy, but you have to struggle for life. Until the last moment, we must struggle together. I need you, and you'll see that together we'll survive. This always I told her. The ghetto finished out so like Malak said. About 12 from us ran into his bunker with him, his wife, and his 3-year-old baby boy. Guja, you've got to keep the baby quiet. Ah, I'm hungry. Hush. We'll have to keep him under blankets until he calms down. In a bunker in another part from the shoe shop lay Passage and some others. It was nothing to do all day but to lie and to starve. The whole day and night Anya sat writing in her notebook. There, I've managed to dig a small hole in the stone wall. I can see soldiers. All around were guards to find any who remained hiding. What little food we had, soon it was gone. Quiet, we're all starving. At night, we sneaked out to look for what to eat, but it was nothing to find. Here, Anya, chew on this. You found food? Never any of us had been so hungry like that. No, it's only wood, but chewing it feels a little like eating food. After time, Passage came over to us from his bunker. Maybe you fools are willing to lie here until you starve to death, but not me. I've contacted one of the guards. It will cost a fortune, but he's agreed to look the other way. Our group will mix in with the Poles when they walk past Radula on the way to work tomorrow. If you want to chip in, you can come with us. Many from our bunker said yes. Malak and I, we said no to this idea. We didn't trust the Germans. One guy from our bunker, Avram, came to me. He said, tell me when you will go to Vladik. Then I'll know it's safe. He and his girlfriend wanted to pay me to advise. They had still 2 watches and some diamond rings I didn't want to take. They needed these to live. But I took only the small watch. And next morning, very early, the group walked out. They gave over the money and went past the guard. I stood secret behind a corner. I heard loud shooting and I didn't go see what happened. I only ran very fast back to our bunker. Only a few of us remained. There haven't been any lights in the guardhouse for 2 nights. I think it's safe. A little before dawn, we went out from Sradula. They're gone. Whew, the ghetto is empty. Ahead of time, we organized ourselves good clothes and papers. We mixed with the Poles going to work. We'll be hiding at this address. When you find a safe place, try to contact us, Vladek. Good luck, Malak. We went all in different directions. That guy Avram, his woman had friends to keep them, and friends kept them until Avram's money finished. Anya and I didn't have anywhere to go. We walked in the direction of Sosnowiec, but where to go? It was nowhere we had to hide. Can I help you, Mr. Spiegelman? Yes, I have here my son Artie. I want to sign him a key so he can go also to my safety box. In case something bad happens to me, you must run right away over here. Therefore, I arranged you this key. Take everything from the safe. Otherwise, it can go only to taxes, or Mala will grab it. Please, Pop. Talking about your estate makes me uncomfortable. You're now old enough, so we must think of these things. Why don't you just enjoy your savings while you still can? I'll keep in my desk your copy of the key. You only would lose it. Look, see what I have here? This cigarette case and the lady's powder case. It's 14 carats gold. Uh-huh. These things I had with me then in Sradula in the chandelier bunker. Really? How can I possibly still have them? When the Gestapo found us, I dropped quick a few things into the chimney. If they found the rest of my jewels, at least these might remain. After I came from the camps in 1945, I sneaked back to Sradula, and at night, while the people inside slept, I digged these things out from the bottom of the chimney.